Thank you, Ambassador. My question is about money, and it has two parts. One is about donations by Canadians to COVID relief overseas, and the second is about remittances. As you know and appreciate, Canadians are generous people, and many have been providing donations to NGOs and services overseas in developing and other countries. Do you believe that the government of Canada should match these donations the same way they have matched donations at times of other crisis, most recently when Canada matched donations to Lebanon as a result of the Beirut explosion? And my second question is, again, something you referred to in your remarks, which is about the drop in remittances. We know that remittances to certain jurisdictions exceed the amount of foreign aid that we may be giving, and these have dried up. Can you describe to us the impact of this on countries that have been affected by the pandemic?
On the first one, I would just say, I would not be unhappy if the government said they want to look at, what impact this kind of incentivization of greater, more personal donations would be. I wouldn't be unhappy with that at all. On the second one, it's interesting. The remittance thing is very uneven. A lot of people are expecting that globally this would be a big problem, and people who are listening don't know what a remittance is. When people work in other countries, they often send money back home. And so we have to take some steps. First of all, we have to make sure that we're not allowing the banks and other financial institutions to charge too much to let that happen. So we've got to deal with some of those financial barriers to continuing with remittances. But we also have to understand, and I said it in my opening talk, is the ambassador from Fiji is the one who gave me this line. He said, we've gone from being a middle income country to being a no income country, because so much of what Fiji has is based on two things. One is remittances, and the other thing is tourism. And when those two things just go flat, it becomes very hard. But there are places like Haiti, for example, where the Haitian community in Canada, the United States, and in France and elsewhere has actually been is a very stable diaspora, relatively, very, very well employed, hardworking people. So they are continuing to send a lot of money back home. Same thing's true for a lot of people who come to the United States or who are coming to Canada. They're sending money back. But where you have foreign workers, like, for example, many foreign workers working in the Gulf, from Bangladesh, a whole bunch of other countries. Well, not only are the remittances stopping, those workers are going back to their countries. They're being forced back. And when they go back, they have nothing to do. So for a country like Bangladesh, they are being asked to support people who were previously supporting their families and supporting the government of Bangladesh. And it's changing the political dynamic in ways we can understand. So it's a very complex thing, the global economy. The informal economies that are such an important part of how countries work in many, many parts of the world are completely devastated by lockdown, completely devastated by people simply not being able to move out of their countries. So these things tend to build up, and then we get explosions. And I think that's why a lot of observers are concerned about what happens to peace and stability when these significant lifelines are taken away.